What's next on our program is the presentation on the regional study of femicide by Kosana Beker, Program Director from FemPlatz. The stage is yours.
Okay, so it's after this movie, so it's not, but anyway, we will continue our, you know, just in different ways, story about femicide. And I'm truly moved with this movie because femicide is one of the topics that I'm so involved in within the last 5-6 years. But now first time I have a chance to see this format. So sorry for my, you know, I'm excited now, but yeah, and I don't know if that's a good word, but I'm truly moved. Okay, now I will briefly present you, but really briefly, because I know that I'm between you and the coffee break, and this has been a long day, but just as introduction to our next and last panel for today, I will see, okay, so it's working, okay. So we didn't have chance, and of course today we're not going to have chance to discuss it in detail, but we have different theoretical debates because we don't have single unified definition of femicide. Now we're talking about, and today President of the European Court of Human Rights cited feminist researcher McKinnon, and about, you know, about we need a name if we want to address some kind of issue of problem. So we agreed that we're talking about gender-related murder of women. Okay, so theory and practice are still not aligned, but we also can agree that femicide is the most extreme and ultimate act of violence against women, and it's, you know, it's present everywhere. So in all societies, cultures, regardless of your, you know, age or social status or any other characteristics. So, and don't be afraid of too much text on these slides. It just, it's great that from last year we have, so UNODC and UN Women, they developed theoretical statistical framework for measuring gender-related killings of women and girls. So I put a few things here because, you know, when people are dealing with statistics, when they develop kind of framework that we can all use, and this is also suitable for countries or legal systems where femicide is not incriminated as separate criminal act, which is the case in most of the countries. And what is important for us here, for, you know, judges and members of the judiciary, is that when we talk, because there a debate among judges and lawyers started when we say that murder should be gender motivated, then they are talking about proving motives, which is not so easy. And then we had from UN level, we had really great help. So it's when we talk about motivation, about gender-related motivation, we're not talking about subjective intent of that perpetrator to commit this femicide or homicide. It's about underlying root causes of such phenomena as we could see like a few minutes before in Shayla's case. So for the purpose of this development of this statistical framework, it was important to have a small division of femicides. So we're talking about intimate partner femicides, about femicides committed by other family members, and other, because that's So for these first two, let's say, types, we don't have a lot of disagreements in the theory and practice. But for this third one, when it's someone who is known or unknown to that woman, concrete woman, then we can, you know, debate of whether that was femicide or not. So that's why they develop, and they also develop like data blocks, because any single person here in this room who, you know, need any kind of data knows how important it is to have sex disaggregated data, and we don't have it. We don't have it in our judiciary, in Western Balkans 6. So when we were collecting judgments on femicides in Serbia and then later in other Western Balkan countries, so when we say, okay, so we need this murder, where perpetrator was male and the victim is female. So the answer from our courts is we don't have statistics based on victims. So it's about perpetrator, it's not about the victim. So it's really, really hard to, when you want to collect data. That's why this is also really good to have at the level of United Nations. So for women and girls who were victims of femicide in intimate partner relationship and who are killed by other family members, there is no, you know, we know, depending on the jurisdiction, but usually we know who is intimate partner, husband, spouse, sex, or who is a family member. But also, and you will, I think that you will get these presentations, because there is a lot of text here, but I just wanted to for you to have it, not to search for this UN document. They said that to one homicide to be considered as femicide, there is 8 different criteria, and if one of the 8, so outside intimate partner relationship and family context, that if one of the 8 fits into it, then we can discuss, and that could be femicide. I will show you now, but today we heard that this is the latest UNODC data. So data is for 2021. So we have 81,000 plus women intentionally killed in 2021 globally. And out of that number, like 56% were killed by intimate partners or other family members. And also, this, you know, striking data, when you, we heard it, but I didn't want now to, so it's every single hour in the world, we have 5 femicides, including, you know, including here. So when we have data presented like this, then we can try to imagine the scale of this problem. And it's not on, it started with like our first guest today, with like 75% of women in Europe experienced some kind of violence, and then it ends in 5 minutes, 5 women every hour killed somewhere in the world. So it's connected. It's not like stand-alone violence against Shayla or some other women. It's connected. And we all have responsibility. And that's why it's really amazing that we had a chance to have like second judicial forum here with this topic, because with you we can discuss it and then see what could you do together with us. So this is our region. So you can see we collected data for the last 3 years, but how we collected those data? So we were asking NGOs in all these countries, because they are collecting press clipping, because we live in societies where you cannot have like reliable, publicly available data on femicides in our countries. So please bear that in mind, and maybe, maybe that's not correct, at least. So we had at least, you see how many women killed in our region. And also, it's not, we in civil society, in women's organization, we are doing this, and that's not our job. We need statistics as with some other, social phenomena. So I will show you. I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can see it. We develop in our project funded by UN Women. We develop interactive map. For Albania, Montenegro, and Serbia, and as you can see, those circles are orange. So it's about every single femicide in last 3 years is there. So you can search through country, year, and then you will have like small description of what happened. Of course, again based on newspaper reporting. And we have, so I will, now I will tell you that we are planning to include, of course, other countries in the region. I think during this year that we will manage to collect data, and it's not only about collection data, it's about also this IT issues, to put that all together. But then you can see and you can have short description of what happened. So we heard a little bit of that today, and I'm not going to repeat it much. But in our countries, in Western Balkans 6. We have legal improvements. So it's evident that we have legal improvements, but it is also evident that we need more than that. So we can say that that's first step, that we have laws. But on the other hand, we all ratified, or it's applicable, like CEDAW and Istanbul convention. But we see that in the region, so its situation related to killed women is not so bright. So I think that we should do a lot. So implementation is challenged throughout the region, and for me, when I'm standing in front of hundreds of judges and other people who are professors, and I don't know how many times I say, okay, so now we have laws, but implementation, and it's not good. And then also, we don't have femicide as a separate criminal act, except of North Macedonia, starting in March 2023. So congratulations, neighbors, and I hope that we will somehow follow that. So you can see there. So it's deprivation of the life of a woman or a girl up to 18 years of age while committing gender-based violence. It's not ideal, but it's definition, and it's there. So we can see in, I don't know, 5-10 years how things will go in North Macedonia with this criminal act, and then we will see maybe to change it a little bit, to adjust it, but that's it. And I'm sorry, maybe I'm talking too fast now. I'm just trying to tell you what amazing job we did in the last few years. So we conducted research of social but also judicial response to femicide in Serbia, then in Montenegro, and then in Albania. We actually it was funded by UN Women, and we could use the same methodology. So we have comparable research. Then, with the great support of AIRE Centre, and who recognize the importance of that topic, so we also manage, and of course, when I said we, there is a lot of you also here who were, collecting, writing, and so on. So we have a report on judicial response, on femicide in Bosnia and Herzegovina, North Macedonia. It will be printed in few days, and also Kosovo. Yeah, well, we need maybe, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks more. But what is really, I think, important is that we were using the same methodology, so we can compare. Although it's not so comparable, but we can compare. So, although we don't have femicides in our region, we have murder, we have qualified or aggravated types of murder, we have some privileged murders. So we think that like our main message from here and the basis for work in criminal proceedings in absence of separate criminal act should be that at least we consider femicide as a qualified or aggravated form of murder. So I will show you in Albania, in Bosnia, in all jurisdictions in Bosnia. So there are a certain number of criminal acts where, so we have, like in Albania, for example, we have premeditated murder due to family relations, or we have murder of pregnant women. But besides, and in every single jurisdiction, we have something, some acts like that ones, but still there is a whole. This could be considered as femicide, but also we should bear in our mind that it's not only about pregnant women or intimate partner relations. So there is also a lot of murders that could be considered as femicides, and then that somehow it slips through our systems. So in every, I'm not going to read it now, but we have it. But what I want to show you, it's just very briefly, it's, and I don't know if you can see it well, but first we have penalties for murder and then for qualified murder in our countries. So you can see like 10 to 20, now it's just regular murder, 5 to 20, at least 10, at least 5, at least 10, 5 to 15, at least 5. And then when we see this qualified, then you can see like at least 20 or life imprisonment. Then we have at least 10 or from 21 to 45 and so on. So using that logic, if we, and you will see that our research actually showed that, so challenges in our research, it's qualification of criminal offense. So in absence of femicide, we could have, as we can see from the research, that there are some cases where those femicides were qualified as aggravated or qualified murders with really, really harsh punishment. But on the other hand, we also had cases, I don't know, like what do you say about for attempted femicide with firearms, like 6 months? In Serbia, for example, 6 months, and then the court elaborated that he has business and that if he goes to prison, then his business is not going to, you know, go well, and then he could stay at home with this, I don't know, this electronic surveillance thing. So it's throughout the region, what's the problem? It's that gender-based motivations, in that sense, as UN said, that's not recognized usually. Courts are not in neither prosecution office. They're not dealing with the history of violence, like previous violence. So, for example, we have jealousy. Like very often, it's kind of understandable that he was jealous. So very rarely jealousy is seen as a base motive, for example. There is a complete lack of data on victims in the judgment, and everything is centered at perpetrator. Then, furthermore, challenges are like gender stereotypes and prejudices. You will see in national reports more in detail, but also in this regional. Then this idea about roles of women and men in society, you can see that in the explanation of the judgment. Victim blaming, we found one femicide with the elaboration on her contribution to her own murder. So for me, it's really, it's really strange when I'm telling you this, but you could see that in judgments within your own courts, and then because I see our moderator, I will just skip challenges, and then I will say that this lenient penal policy, and we will have chance later in our panel to discuss this a little bit more. It's like three main things are. So it's qualification, how prosecution and would qualify that act and what court would accept it. Then it's about gender prejudices and stereotypes, and then it is about mitigating and aggravating circumstances and their explanation, how you perceive some circumstance that exist. And we have few recommendations. So we wanted recommendations that our recommendations are applicable to every single jurisdiction involved. So we would love to see femicide as a separate criminal act, and we will have chance to discuss it later, because there are a lot of members of judiciary that do not agree with this separation. So I think that this is the great forum to discuss it. Then it's about establishment of national data collection system, but it's on improvement of judicial databases also, because you may or may not be a part of this national statistic in terms of violence, but on the other hand, we saw that your bases also need improvement. Then one of our recommendations, and it's not only our recommendation, but you know that we, and some of you were also interviewed for those purposes. It's about development of guidelines for processing the cases of femicides, just to collect from every single country and to highlight some good practice examples and then some, bad practice examples, so you can see like the differences. And we also put, of course, continuous training for the judiciary in terms of this gender stereotypes and prejudices and things. So we need like tailor-made educations, because every single forum in this world, we can say we need some training for someone, but this is really important, because out of those judgments you see that some members of judiciary really need awareness-raising training, and then later how to implement, how to first understand, and then they will implement the law. And then finally, we realized that judiciary also, but in the sense of their contribution, one of our recommendations is establishment of the femicide watch in each country, and then regional femicide watch, which is not originally our recommendation. It's recommendation of the UN Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women, and something that we here, AIRE Centre, could do and is doing and will do. That's judicial regional exchange of knowledge and practice, similar as last time when we had forum, and today and tomorrow. So we will continue to work on these really important topics. And thank you.